I believed my marriage was strong, simply because nothing was broken. We didn't fight, we didn't scream, we never threatened to leave. For a long time, I treated that as proof. I told myself, real problems are loud. Real danger announces itself. It forces you to stop. It demands attention. What I didn't see was how quiet this lie was. It didn't arrive as a moment I could remember. It didn't show up with an argument. It arrived as a habit. Small, repeated, easy to live with. And that's what made it dangerous. By the time I realized the cost, there was nothing left to fix. No crisis to react to. No moment to undo. Just distance that felt normal, because it had been growing, unnoticed, for years. The lie I believed was simple. I told myself stability was enough. I thought if I paid the bills, stayed faithful, and kept the house running, then the marriage would take care of itself. I believed consistency was love. I believed being in the room meant being present. For a long time, that felt reasonable. Life was busy. Work demanded more than it used to. Responsibilities stacked up quietly. We talked about schedules, we talked about groceries and plans, we handled problems efficiently. We kept things moving. From the outside, nothing looked wrong. Inside, things were calm, predictable, controlled. I took comfort in that. I assumed silence meant peace. I assumed routine meant safety. I assumed that because she wasn't complaining, everything must be fine. I didn't ask what she stopped saying. I didn't notice how conversations shortened, how laughter appeared less often, how eye contact slowly became optional. That belief protected me. It allowed me to feel like a good husband without doing the hard work. It gave me permission to coast, to mistake the absence of conflict for connection. I didn't think marriages ended this way. I thought they ended with explosions, with betrayal, with clear reasons you could explain. I didn't understand that neglect doesn't make noise. It settles in quietly until it feels like the way things have always been. The damage didn't appear all at once. It showed up in small moments, in questions I didn't ask because I was tired, in answers I half listened to. We sat in the same room, but lived in different places. She started sharing less, not because she had nothing to say, but because she learned it didn't land anywhere. I responded with solutions instead of attention, with logic instead of presence. I thought I was being helpful. I didn't see what that cost. Over time, she stopped reaching for me, and I mistook that withdrawal for independence. I told myself she was strong, self-sufficient, fine. We became efficient partners instead of connected ones. We managed life well. We just stopped feeling it together. Because nothing was wrong, I felt no urgency. There was always tomorrow, always next weekend, always more time, until there wasn't. Distance compounds quietly. Every missed moment makes the next one easier to miss. Every unasked question makes silence heavier. Eventually, the marriage becomes functional, but hollow. Still standing, still intact, just no longer alive in the ways that matter. I didn't notice when she stopped turning toward me. I noticed when she stopped expecting me to turn toward her. That was the moment I recognized it, but it was too late. The damage wasn't dramatic. It didn't explode. It settled. When emotional erosion happens slowly, it doesn't feel like loss. It feels like normal. The realization didn't come during a fight. It didn't arrive with slammed doors. It came during an ordinary moment. We were sitting across from each other, talking about something small, and I suddenly felt how far away she was. Not angry, not cold, just unreachable. That's when it hit me. I hadn't lost my marriage suddenly. I had been losing it gradually, all while congratulating myself for keeping things stable. I started noticing how often I chose comfort over curiosity, how often I avoided emotional effort. I told myself that staying was proof of love, endurance, reliability. What I hadn't noticed was how often I stayed physically while checking out emotionally. There was no villain in this story, no dramatic betrayal, just two people adjusting to distance until it became permanent. I had to face my part in that, not because I was cruel, not because I didn't care, but because I stopped paying attention once things felt safe. Safety made me quiet, comfort made me passive, and that quiet did the work I never saw happening. The hardest truth wasn't that I failed her, it was that I failed to notice when she needed me most. And now, she no longer reaches for me. We're still together. We still share space. We still talk about the day and the weather. From the outside, it looks intact. It probably looks successful. But there's a silence now that doesn't ask to be filled. I used to think the worst thing a marriage could face was conflict. Now I know it's comfort without connection. When nothing feels urgent, you stop reaching. And when you stop reaching long enough, the distance doesn't even hurt anymore. That's the part that stays with me. Not the loss itself, but how quietly it happened. If any of this feels familiar, you don't need to explain it. Most men don't talk about this out loud. They just live with it. Until one day, they realize how much time has already passed.